So welcome to this lab exercise. I am Shahab Fazal and I am from Aligarh Muslim University. In this lab work, as we discussed in our previous session about how to digitize a point entity, we would try to explain here as to how practically you can do it. So this is the interface, QGIS interface, which would be visible to you. I would click here for a new project and then I will look into the data. So for here, first I would look into the raster data. So here, and I would be using a new data here. So I would georeference it, and it is a topographical sheet map, and I am georeferencing it again for your benefit so that you can learn, because on previous occasion we georeferenced where the latitude and longitude were in absolute term. Today we would be georeferencing with decimal digits also. So that would be a new learning for you as to how you can georeference with decimal degree coordinates. So I'll use this. You all know that this is how we georeference the raster map. I'll go to the open raster. I would look into the map which is in the system itself. So I'll click here and it will appear like this. So here you see this is the topographical map of Aligarh city. Now I need to know the coordinates. So here I will zoom in and I'll go to this part. Now you see here it is again 78 degrees 0 minute, 28 degrees 0. So here it is not such a big issue, but on the other corners it will be having in degree minutes. So it will be in decimal. So that's why we are using it. So what we have to do? We have to insert the GCP, ground control point, of this point. So that can be done through here. You see add point. I will click here. I will come to here and it is about longitude, easting, that is x-axis, it is 78. So I'll leave that. North, it is 28. 78 degree 0, 28 degrees 0. So I am eliminating. No, I made a mistake. So I'll go back and I'll put it here 28 and I'll say OK. So the first coordinate has come. Now I will go to the previous scale. I will again go back to the other corner and zoom it like this. Now you see, here we have 78 degree 15 minutes. The latitude is the same 28 degree. So here we have to be a little cautious. So click here, put the GCP on that point. Here it is 78. So 78 space 15. And in north it is 28 space 0. And I'll say OK. So the second would come. Now again I will go back to the previous zoom and then I'll come to here. Now you see here it is 27 degree 45 is the latitude, 78 degree 15 is the longitude. So I'll do this and I'll click here. I'll put 78 space 15 and 27 space 45. Again I will say OK. So there are 3 now. Go back to the previous zoom. Again zoom into the other corner. And it is 27 degree 45 latitude and 78 degree 0 east is the Greenwich. So again I will go back here. I'll click here. I'll put the figure 78 and 78 space 0 if I wish, otherwise I could have only 78, and 27 space 45. Okay, so that is what is required for assigning the GCPs to the ground. Then the next is transformation setting. So here we will continue with polynomial 1 because we are taking 4 GCPs. Nearest neighbor is okay. WGS 84 is again okay. Here I would say I would use the name georeference. Okay, save the GCPs and also load in QGIS when done. Okay, so I'll put OK, and then I'll click here, and you see the progress indication would be there, and that way the georeference has happened. The message will come over here, georeference is successfully done. Now you see, this is how we have georeferenced it. Okay, so now I will close this georeference to, and this map is georeference. Now how you can confirm that the map is georeferenced? You see, there is some kind of black line which has come up. Why this is happening? Because you see, it is part of a spherical world, spherical earth. So what is happening? This has to be aligned to the spherical earth. That's what we are trying using the certain kind of coordinate reference system. And in that way, it is aligning on the ground. So that way it is a little tilted. It's a very small area, so the tilt is lesser. But yes, in our previous discussion, in our previous session, when we georeferenced the India map, the tilt was quite significant. And that is a good sign of georeferencing, because it is aligning with the spherical globe, spherical earth. That location is putting over the spherical earth, the two-dimensional thing, two-dimensional map entity is being put over the spherical earth. So that is why there is some kind of tilt which happens. It gets adjusted to the spherical thing. The good example is that if you cut down a ball, and if you try to spread it over the surface of flat surface, it is not possible. There would be some spaces would be remain there, and since it is a smaller area, so it will, on a spherical earth, it will go with some angle. So that is what an idea as to the georeference is complete. Now another important thing is that when you move the cursor here, if you look here, the coordinate that is changing. That means what? It is giving you, we know only 4 coordinates. We inserted and added only 4 ground control points. But this entire map is now georeference. So any location of it, it will give, you will get a specific coordinate details of it here. And that is the advantage of spatial information. Now the entire map is spatial. Any point which we would be locating, any line which we would be locating, it will be giving us exact coordinates, and that is what the advantage of GIS. Okay, so this is what the georeference has been done. Now, today we would be learning as to how we can digitize a point entity. So point entity within this map, there can be some benchmarks, there can be some entities. For example, there can be a police station, or there can be a bank, something like that. I'm not sure what kind of details would be available in the map, but if they are, we can digitize. How we can digitize, we would be learning. The objective of this exercise, lab exercise, is to understand and to familiarize with how the point entity is added into our spatial format by digitizing it. Digitizing, as you recall, we mentioned that it is the spatial information is added in digital format. So we have a paper map, but now we have georeferenced it, bring into digital format this map. Now all the point entities we can add over here. So